Atheists can't debunk Wes Huff. He right now is the #1 voice for Christians because
he is not just an ordinary speaker or a YouTuber, but he actually goes deep, not just sharing his beliefs and ideas, but actually backing it with evidence, going deep into archaeology and artifacts, bringing the Bible to life, and sometimes, dare I say, very hard to disapprove.
yes. Wes Huff has also been on many podcasts, including 3 massive ones: Joe Rogan, The Diary of a CEO, and The Sean Ryan Show. Now, in each, you have 3 hosts that are all asking important questions. And I think they're all questions that a lot of atheists have, maybe questions that curious people have about faith, and also questions that Christians maybe don't have the answer to as well. He has so much knowledge and he shares it all in each of those podcasts. I've listened to all of them. I think they're super informative as someone that does believe in Jesus, and I've learned so much from listening to Wes Huff in all 3 of those. I can't stress how much he is doing in terms of sharing the truths, sharing archaeology, sharing more and more information about manuscripts, which to me sometimes is a lot to wrap my mind around, but he explains it so well. He even explains just a simple gospel so well to the host of the show that he's on.
Yeah, I think that is actually the secret, because as non-Christians, these are big podcasts, and the podcast hosts are not believers, but these are like probably what, like the top 10 podcasts in the world. I mean, Joe Rogan is #1.
Joe's a believer. Sean Ryan's a believer.
Awkward, but The Diary of a CEO.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, but my point is, I think that he's invited this podcast because he's just not another preacher or speaker, but he's actually humble. He knows so much. He's so intelligent. He breaks down things that like even a kid could understand. They're so simple, but he does it with humility. And maybe because he's Canadian, you think?
He's super nice. Because he's Canadian.
I love going to Bless God Summit just a week ago, and we got a chance to get a sneak peek into Wes Huff's Is the Bible True docuseries, where we got a chance to sample episode 3 of how they formed the Bible, the canon of scripture in Turkey. But episode 1 and episode 2 is actually out there and you could watch it for free. It's really beautiful because he goes around places like Egypt and the Middle East and Turkey to uncover where the scriptures have the stories and the sights and sounds of the Bible when he brings it to life. I actually love it. What do you think about the docuseries?
I actually haven't seen the episode yet of Is the Bible True? I'm pumped to watch it. I've hit play, but I haven't sat down to watch it. It looks amazing. Episode 3, part 3 looks amazing, going into, can I say?
Tell him.
The Council of Nicaea. Controversial. Anyway, I think that Wes Huff is an important figure in society and in Christian circles. Again, if you're an atheist and you have certain questions, certain doubts, and you hear him speak, you have a lot of your questions answered just because he's giving the hard, cold facts about archaeology, about history. He's showing how contextually, how the account of Jesus is accurate and valid to the point of, or valid to the age and the day and the age where everything was basically relayed orally and through story and handed down, right? And he talks about how even Wes Huff also talks about how somewhat recently after Jesus' life, the books were written, the Gospels were written. He talks about the authenticity of the Dead Sea Scrolls. He talks about so much about the different manuscripts, translations, what is legit, what isn't legit in terms of different books of the Bible. He covers so much, and some of it is so vast and just hard for us to wrap our heads around because it is something that you learn if you're in a much higher level of education around archaeology, around the Bible, around different parts of hard, cold evidence or surrounding the Bible, surrounding manuscripts. And he is the guy that is just articulating all of that and articulating the gospel through it all. So if you're an atheist, I challenge you to go watch the 3 podcasts, the Sean Ryan Show, Joe Rogan, The Diary of a CEO, or Wes Huff is on there. Have some of your questions answered. He's a great source, and he's humble. He shares where he has some reservations and some confidence in a lot of the things that he shares, and he's very real about how he feels about what he's sharing and certain things. He's a little hesitant about the authenticity of this or that. He's very real about it, and I think you could appreciate his scientific and base in archaeology and facts, and not solely basing it just on faith. If you're curious about Jesus, go watch it for all those reasons I listed. Your questions will be answered. And if you're a believer, you can learn so much more about the Bible, the authenticity of it, and so much more from Wes Huff. And make sure to go watch part 3 of Is the Bible True? That's all we got.
If you like
Comment,
this
like,
video,
subscribe.